Thank you, Senator Hanasan. We will proceed with Senator Ejercito with his questions.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, if you will allow me, before I ask a few queries, I've been observing, Madam Chair, that it's not nice, no, that the AFP and PNP have been, para natin sila pinagsasabong dito. And if I may propose that if we can continue this in an executive session, because this is not nice. But before that, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a manifestation. Well, to General Purisima, General Espina, General Katapang, General Napeñas, General Galvez, General Pangilinan, General Guerrero, and all of those present here. Gusto ko lang sanang sabihin sa inyo na napakababa siguro, no, ng moral ngayon ng pareho ng kasundalahan natin at ng kapulisan. Nakakaawa po ang kanilang kalagayan ng matropa na matapos ang mangyari sa Mamasapano, ay pakiramdam po nila ay wala silang kapag sila ay subong sa isang special operation sa Mindanao, ay maaring wala silang saklolo. No? Ito yung mga dapat nating pagtuunan ng pansin. Kung kaya, hinihiling ko po sana sa inyo na itaasada natin ang moral ng ating makapulisan, makasandulahan, sa pamamagitan ng pagsasabi ng kung ano po yung tunay na nangyayari. Itigil na po natin ang pagtuturan sa isa't isa. At gusto ko pong ipaabot sa inyo na ang serye ng ating Senate hearings, mayorya ng ating mga kababayan ay naniniwala na may mga inconsistencies. No? Tulad na lang nung nakaraan, ang sabi nyo, nung natanong kung ano oras na paabot sa Pangulo, marami sa inyo nagsabi hapon na, pero lumalabas umaga pa pala. So sabihin po natin sana, Madam Chair, yung katotohanan. General Lapeñas, ramdam ko po ang bigat na inyong nararamdaman dahil napatayan kayo ng 44 na tropa at kinakailan ninyong itago ang kabubuan ng impormasyon dahil sa covert operation. Nung kayo po ay pumayag ng kahilingang iliham ang lahat ito kay Secretary Roxas at General Espina, batid po ninyong lumabat kayo sa chain of command. Pero dahil hindi ba't dapat kaharap ninyo ang Pangulo, kumpiyansa kayo na ang paglilihim na ito ay may mas mataas na katapatan. Madam Chair, I just like to appeal, again, sana pa matigil na ho natin yung turuan, no? Yung, if we have already gathered enough information, if we can already continue this in an executive session, that, kasi baka mamaya, pati Madam Chair, yung MILF and other rebel groups are already laughing at us because the AFP and PNP are already blaming each other. No? So, Madam Chair, I would propose that we continue on an executive session.
Madam Chair.
Before the Chair decides on that, Madam Chair, before you decide on the matter, I'm really bothered by these exchanges between Napeñas and Purisima. There is a text here, General Napeñas, wherein you texted General Purisima, where you refer to and let me read so we get it in context. You said, in the text on January 13, 2015, at 1:07 p.m., in consideration of the comments of the President during our meeting, number of personnel to be deployed in the operations, recommend we follow the secondary date as the additional personnel to be used are deployed in Tacloban for the Pope's visit. Also, the primary date is too tight while we no longer have a window on the secondary date. While we have a longer window in the secondary date. Ano ibig sabihin lang nito?
Yes, Your Honor. I mentioned that already before, that the primary date should be before the visit of the Pope. But then, because of the utilization of our forces to be deployed in Tacloban, because some of the forces from 1st Battalion were deployed in Tacloban, so we recommended that it should be done on the 23 to 26, Your Honor.
That is the secondary date?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And in that same text, you said, for your consideration and approval, addressed to Purisima.
Yes, Your Honor.
That was on January 23, 2015 at 1:07 p.m. Is that correct? That's what you wrote here.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Purisima said, and I quote, at 1:47 p.m., quote, okay, NAP, go for the secondary schedule. Do you confirm that?
Yes, Your Honor.
In other words, Purisima gave the approval that you go on the secondary date. Very clear.
Yes, Your Honor.
while he was under suspension.
Yes, Your Honor.
And in fact, he also told you not to tell Secretary Rojas and Bolt Gasbin of this operation while he was on suspension.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's all.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I would like just to echo the exact sentiments of Senator Ejercito. At the first hearing, I manifested that I feel bad at tingin ko ngang pinagtatawanan tayo ng iba sapagkat yung internal na hindi pagkaunawaan na spispin eh. For example, sa AFP, no one ever said na hindi tumulong ang AFP. At totoo yung sinabi kanina na mas maraming mamamatay. And with the indulgence of our Chief of Staff, General Katapang, the whole issue came about sa statement nyo po na sinabi nyong, in as much as we have a peace process, we do not want to endanger these things because pag sinugod po natin ang MILF, they might think that we are at war. But all of this, and the same thing with the statement of General Talino, this is the transcript, Hener, baka pwede kami makahingi ng artillery support. Sabi niya, sir, gusto ko ibigay sa inyo, pero as of now, hindi pumayag si Division Commander because of the peace process. So, eto po ang, some of these have been answered, some hindi. But at this point in time, today, it is very clear that the President was told early in the morning that all kinds of support, artillery and air, would be provided. So the only remaining question is, at what level was the decision made to balance the support and the peace process? Having said that, that is internal to us. Because let us all remember that if Marwan was not there, this would not happen. And if the MILF did not cuddle Marwan, this would not happen. So having said that, Madam Chair, I'd just like to forewarn and ask the kind indulgence of Chairman Iqbal, when it's my turn to ask questions tomorrow, maybe he can coordinate with his colleagues in the Central Committee because I'd like to ask him so that we will have a good discussion. No? First, yung statement po ni Vice Chairman Jafar for Political Affairs, that his statement that hindi pa kompleto yung investigasyon ng MILF, but their initial finding is that the MILF was forced to engage the policemen at may sinasabing self-defense, which is against all the testimony that we've heard in this hearing. No? Secondly, that the MILF will not surrender their men, regardless of the findings no, of the different committees, the BOI and the DOJ. No? So I'd like them to clarify that. And lastly, yung pong gamit na mga sinole, may I quickly ask General Espina, yung po bang mga cellphone, pitaka, personal belongings, sinoli na po ba?
No, sir.
So I just like to manifest, Madam Chair, that I'm really offended that the peace panel and the OPAP keep saying, this okay na, return faith na sa kanila, mag-BBL na tayo. Eh, simpleng-simpleng bagay na yung mga gamit na personal. Eh, yung asawa at yung mga anak, hinihintay na lang makita man lang kung anong huling text, kung ano yung litratong tinitignan. So, let's start speaking naman for the government and let's have both sides. Let MILF speak for themselves, but sana naman po, someone speaks for the government din naman po. So, Madam Chair, I'll reserve that for tomorrow and thank you for your time.
Thank you for your manifestation. I've noted the suggestion and request of Senator Jayvee Ejercito for an executive session, which is actually in support of the request of the AFP for an executive session, a letter they sent to me this morning. I think for the best interest also of preserving certain sensitive issues on national security and in the spirit also of being candid about the situation without worsening relationships with the PNP, we will agree to an executive session. And then tomorrow, we will continue with our hearings and begin with the last senator to, we will begin with Senator Nancy Binay for questions tomorrow. We will have an executive session first now. I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
Madam Chair, probably we can just finish with the few senators and then we go to executive session. If we can just try to omit yun, or stop na lang yung tungkol sa coordination, yung mga blaming. So
no, I think that there's a lot to be discussed in an executive session that if we don't start now, at least by that time, for the senators here who haven't asked, you will have more questions to ask also in the open hearing tomorrow, because I don't want to end our investigation with an executive session. That's the reason why I would like to continue tomorrow. Ma'am.
I'm just going to Zamboanga tomorrow. I want to ask my questions.
So we will give consideration to the senators who need to ask now, like Senator Villar, who needs to do her work in Zamboanga tomorrow. So we will go ahead and allow her. But Senator Nancy, with your permission, ma'am.
I will yield to Senator Villar.
Thank you.
Thank you
Senator
very much.
Roxas, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Secretary Roxas.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, the notice that we got is just for today, and we have other responsibilities. So if we can get as many of the questions as today, we would appreciate it lang.
What do you mean? The PNP will not be able to attend tomorrow?
Well, no, the notice that we secretaries got is for today only. 23.
So would you be able to attend tomorrow?
Well, ma'am, if we can get as many senators, if we can get as many questions as we can today, maybe there's, I don't know what, then maybe tomorrow can be much more focused on specific. But we will try, we will change our schedules, but the notice that we got was just for today.
Yes, because the reason why we didn't schedule for tomorrow, we were hoping to finish also the hearings by today. On the other hand, we received the executive session request, and the reason why we're granting this is because we've also given the PNP such accommodation. I understand, and this is also one reason. This is not whitewashing any issue, and this is the reason why we would like to, as much as possible, clarify all the questions, but at the same time do it expediently, because we know that you have ongoing operations and you have ongoing responsibilities that you need to attend to. That is why I would like to have the executive session today, so that we don't end on an executive session tomorrow or the day after. Because otherwise, I really feel that in a hearing like this, our utmost goal is for transparency and the truth. And it is a message we are sending the public that we sort of end it in a high note by being present all together in an open hearing, so that if there are any more questions to be asked, we can do it before we actually do the conclusion. So,
Madam Chair, just before we
Senator
adjourn, I would just like to clarify something that occurred in a previous hearing. In a previous hearing, I asked a direct question to General Pangilinan as to whether or not he would obey a direct, or he would defy a direct order by the President. And from reading the transcript, it may look that we could interpret that he said he would defy a order coming from the Commander-in-Chief. So I don't think that nagkaintindihan tayo. I was talking very fast. I was at the limit of my time. I would like to clarify, just for and put on the record, that it is understood that you then amended your answer later on. Is that correct, General Pangilinan?
Your Honor, Madam Chair, ang pagkakaintindi ko po sa question kasi nung time na yon, you were referring that despite the knowledge that it will cause death and butchering of the troops, the President will order the firing of the artillery. Kaya ang sabi ko po, I will disobey him. Kung alam niya po na it will cause the lives of his own troops, his own men, the butchering of his own men, after knowing, alam niya po at ibibigay pa rin niya sa akin ng order na paputukin ang kanyon, yes, Your Honor, i-defy ko po siya. Kung it will mean the death of his own troops and men.
I would just, the reason I bring it up, Madam Chair, is that I saw reports in the media saying that General Pangilinan had said that he would defy a presidential order. Pareho naman ang pagkaintindi natin. And I would just like to clarify that we do not believe that a general officer, I do not believe that a division commander would defy an order by the President, and that the reason that there was that misinterpretation of his response was simply because the questioning was going on very fast, very quickly. So I wanted to clarify that there is no one, General Pangilinan, nobody in this committee or in the public believes or is of the opinion that you would be that a general officer such as you, a division commander such as you, would defy a presidential order. I just wanted to clarify that, and I did not want to put you in a situation where we are casting aspersions on your reputation as an officer and a gentleman. That is all, Mr.
Your clarification is noted, Senator Marcos. We will now go to. You have a quick point on the same topic, ma'am.
Madam Chair, on an earlier topic, there was reference made to text messages exchange.
We can discuss this tomorrow in our
for
other
the
hearing.
record, Your Honor, maybe we would like to confirm if such text messages did.
What text messages are you referring to, ma'am?
That the mechanized brigade will not be supporting because of the peace process. Colonel Del Rosario is here, and he was referred to as the one who have sent that response. Maybe he can be allowed to speak and make clarification
Madam
on
Chair,
this.
if they're referring to my statement, Professor Ferrer, are you referring to me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, I'm referring to the transcript. This was a testimony of General Katapang and General Talino. It was not the testimony of General Pangilinan. So it is in the transcript. I did not refer to a text message. What I read a while ago, and I can read it again if you want, but then Senator Villar will ask. It's in the transcript. I can give you the page. So they will have the time to clarify that. But that's where nagsimula lahat nung misunderstanding at dyan nagkaroon ng aspersions kung ang presidente ba pinigilan ng militar na tulungan ang SAF 44. But having said that, it's been clarified today that the president was informed early in the morning that pati artillery dapat ibigay. So we are waiting for the executive session, but walang ganun text message. It's the testimony of the two generals.
Okay, we will provide you, Professor Ferrer, with a copy of Dr. Ferrer, with a copy of this. From
I was
Senator.
referring to the alleged text message of Colonel Del Rosario, which was mentioned earlier by the good senator, and therefore.
Ma'am, I didn't. For the record, Chair, I didn't mention any text message during this hearing today. What I read, ma'am, is the transcript of the hearings of the first and second day of the hearings.
So noted.